Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today is a beautiful Thursday, and I am absolutely buzzing with energy because we have so much to unpack from the latest trip to Port Charles. Grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive right into the madness. I cannot believe they let him get away with it. I'm sitting here staring at my screen after watching that June 4th episode, and my jaw is literally on the floor. I mean, are we seriously doing this? Are we actually just putting Pascal Laviqua on a private plane and waving goodbye? Because that is exactly what just happened. And I need to vent to people who actually understand my frustration. I am so heated right now. I know some people are probably relieved that the storyline is wrapping up, but personally, I feel robbed. We spent months watching this smarmy, arrogant butler ruin lives, and his grand punishment is an all-expenses-paid trip out of the country. Make it make sense. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up because my brain is going a million miles an hour. Let's talk about the fact that Pascal is officially off the canvas. Soap Opera Digest confirmed, through a show rep, that Marc Forget has wrapped his run, meaning Pascal's storyline has come to an end. But of course they left the door open. They always leave the door open. Remember when they tried this with Peter August? They let him fall down a staircase, disappear, and then he just kept coming back like a bad rash. Yeah, it didn't work then either. I am terrified that Pascal's going to pop up in 2 years holding some ridiculous secret over someone's head. And let's just be real for a second. I've been watching this show since 2015. And this is honestly one of the most frustrating villain exits they've done in a while. I mean, think about the sheer amount of damage Pascal did in such a short amount of time. He first showed up back in July 2025 at the Five Poppies Resort, right? Back then, he was just a background annoyance. But then he relocated to Port Charles and slithered his way into becoming Jen Sidwell's loyal butler. And the absolute smugness of this man. He walked around Windermere like he owned the place, taunting Jocelyn Jackson in the sub-basement, looking down his nose at everyone. But what really gets me, what absolutely boils my blood, is the Marco Rios situation. Am I the only one who thinks Pascal got off way too easy for literally causing a man's death? Let's review the tape, guys. Pascal was the one who ran his mouth to Ross Cullum about Britt Westbourne's meds being stolen from Sidwell's safe. He knew exactly what kind of monster Cullum is. He knew Cullum would retaliate. But Pascal thought Cullum would go after Lucas Jones. Why? Because Pascal had this twisted, obsessive, frankly disgusting crush on Marco, and he wanted Lucas out of the picture. So what happens? Cullum kills Marco instead. Pascal's little scheme completely backfired, and he ended up getting the man he supposedly had a crush on murdered in cold blood. And then we had to sit there and watch Pascal mourn. Marco, are you kidding me? I wanted to throw my remote at the television every time he looked sad. You don't get to mourn the guy. You basically hand it over to a hitman on a silver platter. And poor Lucas has been carrying this grief for months, sidelined while everyone else got screen time. Okay, back to the point. The takedown. I will admit the way Lucas Sonny Corinthos and Laura Collins teamed up was absolute soap perfection. I was cheering at my screen when Lucas finally got to use his grief as a weapon. Lucas convinced Detective Joe Fitzpatrick to go question Pascal about Marco's fatal outcome. That was a genius move because it immediately planted the seed of doubt in Sidwell's paranoid brain. Sidwell instantly thought his obsessed butler was the one who killed his son. It was a brilliant manipulation by Lucas, turning the heat up on Pascal so high that he had nowhere to run. And then came the warehouse scene. Oh my gosh, the warehouse scene. When Jocelyn caused that brief power outage and Pascal tried to slip out of the castle and escape in his car, I was screaming, "Don't let him get away." But then Sonny, the absolute legend, had already pulled the spark plug wires. I laughed out loud. It was so incredibly satisfying to see Pascal realize he was trapped. Sonny, Laura, and Lucas cornering him in the Corinthos coffee warehouse, tying him to a chair. I mean, that is the kind of high-stakes drama I tune in for every single day. But this is where they lose me. This is where I start contradicting myself. Because I love the setup, but I hate the payoff. Sonny gives this smarmy weasel an ultimatum. He offers him a deal. Pascal gets promised money and a chance to leave the country alive, if he helps them get the blackmail photos from Windermere. I mean, I get it. Sonny needs the blackmail material to free Laura and himself from Sidwell's grip. It's a pragmatic mob boss move. But from a viewer's perspective, it feels so cheap because Pascal just folds. He knows he's a goner if Sidwell catches him coming back around. So he just hands over the safe combination to Lucas. Just like that, no epic showdown, no physical fight, no tearful confession on his knees begging for Lucas's forgiveness. He just gives up the numbers to save his own skin. And now Lucas is the one who has to tackle the mission and break into the safe himself. I am terrified for Lucas, by the way. If Sidwell catches him snooping around Windermere, it is going to be a bloodbath. So the last time we see Pascal, he's being led away to an airfield to await transport. He's just sitting there waiting for Sonny to confirm he has the blackmail material. And then this private plane is going to whisk him away to some tropical island where he can sip margaritas and forget he ever ruined Lucas's life. I am sorry, but no. Just no. A character who causes this much pain and helps cover up murders, don't even get me started. On him helping Sidwell cover up Henry Dalton's murder too does not deserve a sunset ending. I know some people are loving this. I've seen the forums. People are saying, oh, it's so refreshing to see a villain just leave without a massive explosion or a 6-month court trial. And yeah, maybe it's realistic that a coward like Pascal would just take the money and run. But we don't watch soaps for realism. We watch for karma. We watch for justice. I wanted Lucas to get a real moment of vengeance. I wanted Pascal to have to look at a picture of Margot while he was hauled off to Steinmauer in handcuffs. And what happens if he comes back SOD said the door is open? Can you imagine the collective groan from the fandom if Marc Forget walks back onto our screens in 2028? Hello, I've returned to serve tea and ruin lives. I will actually riot. I think his exit should be permanent. Port Charles is down a villain, and honestly good riddance. We have enough baddies running around right now. Jen Sidwell is still a massive threat, and Ross Cullum is literally hunting people down like it's a sport. Speaking of Cullum, I am so anxious about Britt and Rocco being on the run. With Pascal gone, Sidwell and Cullum are going to be hyper-focused on their other problems. Sonny is shifting his attention to these bigger baddies. And they are going to be a lot harder to get rid of than a cowardly butler. Pascal was the soft spot in Sidwell's operation. He was the weak link they could exploit. Now that he's gone, Sonny and Laura are going to have to go head-to-head with Sidwell himself, and Sidwell does not play games. I just keep thinking about Lucas. My heart breaks for him. He used his grief, he played his part perfectly. That he got the safe combination. But does he really have closure? The man who set his partner's murder in motion just flew away on a private jet. How do you sleep at night knowing that? I really hope the writers give Lucas some solid emotional scenes in the coming weeks to process all of this. He deserves an Emmy for the subtle, quiet pain he's been portraying. But honestly, I am still just so fired up about the sheer audacity of this exit. I mean, think about the power dynamics at play here. Pascal was a nobody who thought he was a somebody. He thought his loyalty to Sidwell protected him. He thought he could taunt Jocelyn Jackson in a sub-basement and get away with it. And in the end, he was right. He did get away with it. He didn't face any legal consequences. He didn't face any physical harm. He just got outplayed by Sonny and took the coward's way out. Am I being too harsh? Maybe. I know I get overly invested in these characters. But when you've been watching a show for years, you build up expectations for how storylines should climax. Remember the build-up to Cesar Faison's final exit, or even Victor Cassadine's those, were epic. This felt like a wet firecracker. We got the warehouse scene, which was great, but the resolution was just a business transaction. Here are the numbers, here is your plane ticket. And can we talk about how this exit affects the overall canvas? Port Charles is currently overflowing with storylines that are just waiting to explode. With Pascal out of the way, the writers have cleared the deck for the real heavy hitters. Ross Cullum is still out there spreading his particular brand of terror, and Jen Sidwell is only going to get more dangerous when he feels cornered. Pascal was just the appetizer, guys. He was the warm-up act. Sonny shifting his attention to Sidwell and Cullum means we are about to get some classic, old-school mob warfare. I am talking about the kind of gritty, high-stakes drama that made me fall in love with General Hospital in the first place. But I still can't shake the image of Pascal sitting at that airfield. It just feels so unresolved. I mean, think about the conversations he must be having with whoever is guarding him. Is he still acting arrogant? Is he shivering in his boots, hoping Sonny doesn't change his mind and just have him shot on the tarmac? Part of me hopes Sonny does exactly that. I know Sonny made a deal, but since when does Sonny Corinthos let people who hurt his family's friends just walk away? Maybe there's a twist coming. Maybe the plane goes down. Am I terrible for hoping for that? Probably. But I don't care. I want justice for Marco, and I want justice for Lucas. And let's talk about Jen Sidwell's reaction when he realizes Pascal is gone and the safe has been breached. Sidwell is going to lose his absolute mind. He already thought Pascal killed Marco. When he finds out Pascal betrayed him and gave up the blackmail photos, Sidwell's wrath is going to be biblical. I am actually here for that part. I want to see Sidwell completely unhinged. I want to see him turn his rage on Cullum, or maybe even Cassius. The fallout from Pascal's exit might actually be better than the exit itself. So what do you guys think? Are you pleased that Pascal survived and got to fly away? Or do you think he deserved to face a grim fate? Because you know where I stand. I wanted him in a cell, or at the bottom of the harbor. Are you hoping he comes back someday? Or would you prefer his exit to be permanent? Let me know. Because I feel like I'm screaming into the void here. Port Charles might be down one villain, but the war is just getting started, and I am going to be glued to my screen for every single second of it.